So my friends, welcome to a new crypto update video. And what happened there? I expected a lot, but not that we would shoot up to 114,000 US dollars last night, but it happened. So my short position was flushed out of the market here. You see here we have come over 101,000. 102,000 was roughly my stop loss, and we just shot even higher. We even captured the inefficiency over here from, when was it? The 31st of January. We entered the supply zone up here and got rejected there for the first time. So the market is eager. Honestly, I can't tell you where the money is coming from, or rather where all the intuition is coming from. Only 830 million or billion, I have no idea, in key shorts were liquidated. In my opinion, that's very, very little when we consider where we had this dump, how many longs were liquidated. That means there aren't actually that many short positions that have been liquidated. It might even be spot purchases. Still a very, very strange move, I'm telling you honestly, just as it is. We will definitely take a look at the stock markets as well. We will definitely make an XRP video later. That will be back online this afternoon. And otherwise, yes, we'll just see what the day brings. I would definitely, or rather, I'm going to keep my hands off the short leverage for now. We'll still look at what possibilities exist now. How high can Bitcoin still rise? What's next? You'll definitely find out all of that in today's update video. Before we start, as always, feel free to give the video a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and of course, feel free to join the free Telegram talk and Signal group. If you're interested in updates, news, and signals, feel free to join. You'll find the links for free below in the video description. Sorry about yesterday that the live stream didn't take place. That was partly due to YouTube. That's why I've now also set up Twitch and Kick as additional channels, so we have a backup in the future and can stream on 3 platforms. Yes, and if you're still looking for an exchange where you want to trade or buy spot for a potential altcoin season, you can of course do that with my partner exchange, Binx. Link to that is also below in the video description or in the comment section. There you can support our channel or Tom me with that. So, Bitcoin at 102,800 US dollars. We had an enormous pump, and as a result, if we were to quickly draw in the vectors here, if it would load, yes, a lot of volume was generated in the last few hours, and a lot was liquidated in the last few hours. It was truly a massive pump if we look at it just from yesterday morning or in the last 2 days. It went up over or nearly 10%. You see here vector candle, vector candle, vector candles everywhere, and the same game also downwards, continuing towards 88,000 US dollars. So it remains very, very dangerous. Nevertheless, it must be said, we have made an important step. We have come over the golden pocket here. That was this zone between 97 and 96,000 US dollars. And that is also an important zone. Also here, just briefly on the daily time frame to look at it, even there you can see how massive the pump was in the last few days. This golden pocket here was extremely important. Now we are above it. We are even already above the 0.786, have addressed the inefficiency, which you can see up here. I hope you can see that quite well. Here in this area is the inefficiency with this supply zone. We have now triggered that, plus picked it up, plus if we take a quick look here, also captured every vector candle on the daily view. That means the chart is now really cleaned up to the upside for the first time in a long while. And this is actually just the last zone. That means as soon as we get above 104,700 US dollars here, nothing stands in the way of the all-time high. It can happen that quickly, yes, as we have seen now. In the end, I still wouldn't short here. In my opinion, it doesn't make any sense at all. We can clean up the chart a bit here, but I find it a bit too risky. There would be a possibility here, of course, due to this 4-hour and daily supply zone, but even then, the stop loss would have to go above 106,000 US dollars. Let's see what the day brings. A recovery would actually be quite good. That means we see another pullback downwards. That would even be a bullish pullback. That means we simply come down again, recover yesterday's day to around 97 or even 96,000 US dollars. If that holds, we can ultimately continue the upward trend, and then nothing stands in the way of the all-time high. Bearish scenario. Since we have now liquidated everything, it would still be in the range of 87 to 91,000 US dollars, but that's step by step. I'm not doing anything for now. It's Friday. The weekend is just around the corner. In my opinion, trying to interpret something or urgently shorting now doesn't make sense. Let's take a look at the heat map, where I mentioned yesterday that almost everything was relatively processed. Let's take a quick look there as well. There's not really much liquidity or quick left at the top on a one-day chart. It starts to heat up below at around 99,000 US dollars. Let's look at a 3-day chart to see how it looks there, and essentially there as well. So there's really nothing, absolutely nothing left to pick up above. Everything is more towards the downside. I'm curious to see if this will actually happen, if we've really found our preliminary top here. As I said, this is the level that should hold for now. If we hold that, we can then talk about an all-time high. It can change so quickly, but you also have to own up to it. I was completely wrong with the short. It was good. You just have to own it. Otherwise, let's move over to Ethereum. What has happened with Ethereum? Ethereum has shot up completely. That's why there was no trade yesterday. Why didn't I get in there? You see for yourselves, I always tell you not to short into such candles, and it made no sense for me either if I had said, yes, let's get in here, and the 4-hour candle had pumped directly over the pivot, so it made no sense. Ethereum has pumped significantly. It has pumped unnaturally, one must add at this point. In the past few days, we have repeatedly said, okay, due to this divergence we had here, or rather due to this rapidly increasing volume, many longs have probably come in. And that's exactly what happened. We have now filled everything here for the time being, all inefficiencies upwards as well. We would even theoretically have room, if you look over here, to rise up to 2,481 US dollars. In my opinion, that would be a bit too much for the short term. Just this movement, like a straight line upwards, a lot of people were liquidated. I would be cautious. At the moment, there are no real signs to short anything here. In my opinion, it makes no sense at all to short in no man's land, because, as I said, the next target would be 2,400, 2,500 US dollars. Of course, sooner or later, these candles here, and these are pure vector indicators. Almost every candle here on a 4-hour view is a vector indicator, will be triggered sooner or later. But shorting now, in my opinion, is way, way too risky. Unless you have guts and probably a stop loss of over 3,000 or 4,000 US dollars. So hands off. Same game with Solana. We also talked about this yesterday, that the chance is determined, should we break out up here, that we would then head towards 162 or 166. Yes, we have now reached that point as well. So here too, an extreme pump upwards, although it must be said that it is still somewhat contained here. Nevertheless, the entire altcoin market also exploded significantly upwards yesterday, rising 10, 20% in a single day. But what can you do? It definitely looks good. Let's wait and see. As I said, no short for me here either. In general, I would just keep my hands off shorts right now. Solana has room up to around 174 US dollars. Let's move over to the traditional markets. How does it look there? Gold, yes, is moving slowly. It also reached our point yesterday, but there was so much happening with Bitcoin and crypto that I didn't get into any position here. I'm a complete idiot, but well, it happens. Otherwise, it would have been perfectly picked up here at 3,270 US dollars, and we are already back at 3,324 US dollars. But well, let's see what the day brings, whether a certain reallocation takes place again. And we start a bit weaker with gold now. Otherwise, the zone down here is still more of a long zone for me. Traditional markets. DEX is still quite struggling. Not really, neither here nor there. Let's wait and see how it reacts. Also, Dow Jones, all the US stocks, everything that crypto did yesterday in terms of movement. And that's still this uncertainty factor. We would have pumped the stocks extremely yesterday. There was the great trade agreement with England. Oh yes, or Great Britain. Hey, congratulations. But all the other markets didn't really rise. It doesn't matter what we look at, Dow Jones, NASDAQ, everything is at resistance. The S&P 500 at resistance. Something else could follow. Not necessarily in terms of news, because today is relatively quiet unless there's another surprise. But I would just be extremely cautious whether this pump here in Bitcoin might have just been a last exit pump. We saw it with many altcoins, VRA for example. First an extreme pump yesterday, and then a perceived exit liquidity dump with a 60-70% dump within a few hours. Just be careful, especially since the euro is falling. And with that, we now come to the last setup-wise. Euro US dollar is falling. We are still here at least levels towards take profit 3. And that, of course, also means conversely, the dollar is rising again. Capital is now flowing back into the dollar. Possibly, even though nothing has changed yet, It must also be said, even if the prospect of the first trade agreements and things like the UK are considered okay positive, but so far it's just the UK. Let's just see what it brings. I think the next period will be extremely exciting, and I am still, even though I was liquidated yesterday, still on the bearish side. I'm telling you how it is. I don't want to spread panic, but I will still be extremely cautious regarding further, yes, long positions or long-term long positions. Otherwise, yes, that's it from my side. The video turned out a bit longer. I stand by it. I was wrong. I have to own up to it. It would be crappy if I didn't. And otherwise, I would say I would still appreciate a subscription, and we will definitely hear from each other later for an XRP update video. That's it from me. I wish you a great start to the day. Take care. Until then, bye-bye, and as always, stay crypto.